It's just Rocco out with me today. Harley Rocco is curled up at home on the couch. She doesn't like going out on Sundays. There's 2 interviews / conversations from our Crama community members in the last few days that I want to talk about. The first one is PurPleXedQT, aka Laura, having a conversation with Ali, Hunter's mother. First off, I don't like what Laura did. I don't know how you can get away with this in the States. I looked it up and Tennessee is actually a one-party consent state. So it is legal, but it's dirty and it's just bad manners, and I don't know how you're going to have any credibility going forward when people know you do things like this. Laura put in her description of the video that she chose, all caps, not to show Ali's face because she might talk more. That's not true. She told Ali at the start of the conversation that she just wants to have a conversation. She's not recording or anything like that. So she just lies to Ali to try and get her to talk. Ali's giving out about people contacting her and YouTubers and all that, and then Laura goes and puts this video up on YouTube, and also in description calls out that Ali passes gas halfway through the call. This stuff is going to start getting out of hand very, very fast, and YouTube is going to have to start clamping down on it. Everybody thinks they're a Chris McDonough now. At least with Chris, and he puts the videos out there, he's very clear going around the table. Anyone who's talking, he will get on video their consent for it to be recorded. Laura did Ali dirty hair, she did. There's no getting away from it, it's bad form. But I still want to have a look at what was said. So here's my notes. First off, Laura tries to get on their good side by agreeing with them that she doesn't think anything happened at the waterhole. Ali confirms, said she saw Summer in the car when she came back. Now, she always said she was asleep, but the way she is so dismissive about this, I do wonder, did she see her kind of up and about, or did she even walk out to the car at all? Next they start talking about Grandma. Again, Laura saying that she doesn't like her, but she knows that they don't like her, so she's just trying to get on their good books. And it works. They all agree that they don't like Grandma, that they told TBI, look, this isn't the first person that's gone missing in her family. Laura was very clear at the start as well that she wanted to talk to them because she wanted to dispel rumours. That's what this was about. And then the next part, she actually introduces a new rumour. Well, not a new rumour, but intensifying a rumour about why they went to that specific smoke shop. And she starts talking about Delta 8. Delta 8 is a synthetic weed. A lot of teenagers are smoking it, and they speculate, was Candace buying this for Hunter? Were the two of them buying it? Were they smoking it? Is that not what Hunter's telling us? Don't really get a solid answer there, but it has left me wondering, was Candace smoking that? Would she need to smoke that if she can just go get normal weed? Next, Laura starts mourning that the sheriff won't answer her. He doesn't want to talk to her. She blames Molly Golightly and her crew. I'm going to stop moaning about Laura now, but I don't know who she thinks she is. I don't know why she thinks that he should talk to her or that he would talk to her. Why should he talk to anyone? She asks Ali about the rumours of the footprints that were found. Ali doesn't know much. Ali doesn't know much at all, and she says it later on that she's in the dark about this as much as anyone. She started asking her about why Hunter called her to say that someone was missing. And I think one thing I did get out of this is I think the reason for Candace doing that is she actually wanted to talk to Ali, and she had tried her first and they weren't talking, so she was a close friend, they fell out. Stuff like that goes out the window if you have a missing child. So she was reaching out to her friend, she couldn't get in contact with her. She called Hunter to let Hunter know, to let Ali know that if she finds this out, she might actually give her a call and talk to her. The reason they fell out, she said that she was mad over Jose. They said Grandma was trying to get close to Jose, but he was out of the picture long before this happened. She gave him a lift, but it wasn't after Summer went missing. She was constantly back and forth from Tennessee to Wisconsin. Ali talks about YouTubers and people being in contact with her sister. She says she just wishes people left her and her family alone. Laura agrees, which is ironic. She says she never met Jodie Sue, which I'll be surprised by. I thought she would have at least bumped into her or meeting her on the road or something like that. So she can't say much about her, but she does says that she's lying. She says she's a liar. The topic of misleading information then came up, and Ali is really pissed off with Missing Not Forgotten YouTube channel about the rumours that they're putting out there and complete misinformation. They talked about Don. She said as a dad, the only one he paid attention to was Summer. She said she didn't get the vibe at all of any SA. He was really close to her and he always wanted a daughter. They asked her about this and is Candace jealous because of this? We don't really get an answer to this, and then Laura starts telling us what she thinks. And finally everyone agrees that they agree with Dr. Phil that there's definitely stuff that Candice isn't telling us. She said it's ridiculous that she sold her because she owed money for drugs. She said that's not true at all. She can't see any sense in that. They talked about the hill being so steep that Summer wouldn't be able to walk down. And Ali kind of agrees here, but I don't know if you've seen it. Michelle did a really good video on this, and there is a path down there that Summer could walk down. You won't see it if you're on the road, or if you're stopped in the car, you're like, that's way too steep. But there is a path, and Laura doesn't seem to know this, and Ali doesn't seem to know this either. They said Grandis wasn't a very grandmotherly grandma, a bit cold to the kids. That's kind of what I took from it. They talked about why the boys were taken. Ali said CPS were on the doorstep, going back and forward for another visit. Laura did ask her how she knew this if she wasn't talking to Candice at the time. And another little insight of perhaps Candice trying to reach out and get Ali to talk to her after this fight was, she said that Candice started talking to her mother after it, after they had her falling out, and she was telling her the details about the CPS and asking for help to come over and clean the house and stuff like that. So Candice definitely was very keen to fix the friendship with Ali. She knew Ali wasn't talking to her, and I think she was reaching out to Hunter and reaching out to Grandma to try and build some bridges and get back in Ali's good books. They started questioning why the Wells aren't more active, why they aren't out front and centre giving interviews every day of the week, screaming for her daughter to be home. Ali talked about how when her own daughter ran away to a boyfriend's house, she bayed down the door basically to get her back. And I'm not sure about this. I understand what people are saying, and I understand it when I look at other missing kids, but they came out and they did one of the worst interviews I ever seen in my life. Imagine the backlash they got off that. They would have been terrified to come out and give another one. Candice anyway, you really get the impression as well from Ali, the way she talks about her own kids going to the boyfriend's house and the fights that were happening, that everybody in the area seems to be calling the cops 2 or 3 times a day. She said that Candice's other kids were taken by CPS and adopted out. We know that. She said she didn't beat the first kid. This was the ex-husband. Again, I thought we all know that, but apparently it's still a rumour going out there. She said she smoked weed and drank 24/7. Smoked a lot of weed. She said she doesn't think Candice is all there in the head. She's more like a mean big kid than a mother, and I think that's true. She thinks there's a chance that Don is suspicious. I don't think he is. I think he fully believes Candice. I think if Dom was in any way suspicious, he'd hurt Candice, if he has nothing got to do with it. They asked her about the brothers, were they rough for her? Didn't give her a chance to answer, but she did clarify later on she didn't think the boys would know what to do. Like if there was an accident, the boys wouldn't be able to hide Summer's body or anything like that. Don't think they got help from Candice or Grandma either, because they wouldn't be able to keep that sort of stuff quiet. Ali said that Hunter has told the TBI everything on a few occasions. They asked her why she thought that they're not arrested, and Ali gives the obvious answer, because there's no evidence, and then talks about are they playing the long game and trying to gather it. But I think Ali knows if there was evidence they'd be arrested. Everyone had a good laugh about the cornbread mafia, speculating about why Candice walked off when that word was said. And Ali did mention that Candice said that she felt like she was being interrogated, and I talked about in previous videos, I think the word interrogation, and because she felt like she was interrogated, was the trigger for her to walk off. Not to mention of cornbread mafia, the interrogation that Candice would have undergone would have been brutal. They would have turning her upside down to try and get her to confess. Imagine how brutal that would be if you have nothing at all got to do with it and you're getting interrogated for your daughter's disappearance. You'd have PTSD from that, you would. They pondered why the boys aren't talking and came to the conclusion it's because they don't know anything, which I think could be true. She said Don never ever hit the kids, but Candice did. She would give him a backhand, no problem to her. The church, I thought this was interesting. The church was very new to Candice and Don. Very new. She said she never heard her say anything about the church, which isn't the impression that I got. I thought they were going to the church a long time before any of this, which brings up the question, if it was someone that Summer knew that took her, could it possibly be someone from the church trying to save her? I don't think you can totally rule that out. No, obviously TBI probably have, and probably gone to anyone who goes to that church and looked into them. But Laura talked about Don buying his house as a commune to go and have all his kids and his wife, which I think shows her ignorance a small bit. They talked about Don on Facebook at the start, saying Summer is in heaven and how could he possibly know that. Laura gives her opinion way too much, asks about the boys again. Ali says she doesn't think that Candice is going to get the boys back because of the living conditions. They asked her about why she cut Summer's hair, and I think if Ali had a way to spin this into something negative, she probably would, and she doesn't. She says it was because she wanted to look like Candice, that she was always looking for Candice's attention, and she cut her hair because she wanted to look like her. She laughed at a suggestion that had anything got to do with SA or anything like that. She said if Candice did do something, then Grandis definitely knows, which I agree with also. She talked about the way when she was talking to Candice that night that she said she's just gone. This is words that Candice used a few times. She used it in her interview on the news, and she used it with her interview with Chris McDonough as well, and I kind of agree. The wording of she's gone, it's not she's missing, I can't find her, I don't know where she is, it's she's gone. And it does make you question, does Candice know that she's not here? She made a good point also about Grandis going away a few weeks after someone was missing. It was like, how could you leave your own daughter when your own daughter is missing like that? Would you not want to protect your own daughter or try to be there for her? I thought that was a good point. Ali talks again about how she's in the black like everyone else, and how much people on YouTube were pissing her off. Bitched again about the Missing But Not Forgotten channel. Said it's full of shit, no proof, crazy theories. And I think that was Ali trying to wrap up the whole conversation, because then they spend kind of 10 minutes back and forth. Laura's talking about her candles. That's it really. There was a few interesting things that came out of it. Not much rumours dispelled, which is what Laura tried to do. Again, I don't like that this happened, but once it's out there you have to watch it, because it's information that I don't have. Please leave Ali alone, everyone. Stop sending her messages, stop sending her sisters messages. There's no information that she can give us that's going to suddenly crack this case. So that's Laura and her sneaky conversation with Ali. In the next video I want to talk about the Heels on the Ground crew and their conversation with Dudley. They make Laura look like an absolute pro, by the way. I watched part 2 last night and then read some comments underneath, and I don't know, am I delusional? Are the people in the comments delusional? Or it's just crazy stuff. I'll talk about that in the next video. Good luck. God bless. Have a good day.